going to repeat again once I have all the students. But I'm going to do this session very quickly, and just to give you an overview, a very slight idea of what we are going to do. But first, I'd like to ask you a question. Do you have a group of students of your group? Yes, we do. So a group, a Facebook group, or what? WhatsApp. How many people are there in WhatsApp? Okay, so it means that all the group is there. Very fine. So from the 2:30, I only have about 40 here. So I have to wait for the others to get registered, and then we're going to start our course. If you want to say something, you can go and you can open your mic and just talk. Can I, Fatima Zuhra Zaban, for group 3, but maybe others are there too. I don't know, what group do I have? Do I have group 3? Group 3, fine. So for the group 3, I think you're going to be registered from the part of the faculty. They are going to do the registration for you. For the other groups, your teacher is going to get in touch with you, and you will see how you're going to do your sessions, whether live or just PDF or whatever. Anyway, if you want to come into my group, I can create a word pass and then give it to you, or a password and then give it to you. I'll see these things. I'll see after. Okay. Right. Just to tell you, in your group, in the WhatsApp group, some one of you, anyone, I don't know, any one of you, would you please send a message for the others to tell them that this session, in this course, every single student in my group is obliged to give a presentation, an oral presentation from now. So please send the message to tell everyone to choose his or her subject, the subject you're going to talk about, and tell them that the oral presentation has to be in groups. So you can make up a group of 2, 3, 4, that's too much, no, 2, 3 students to come up, and you divide your presentation into 3 parts. And each student is going to do one part of the presentation. Okay, this presentation is going to be the exam, which means that the mark of the presentation is going to stand for the mark of the exam. Okay, if you do not do the presentation, this means that you're going to get a 0 in the exam. It's not going to be a written. Maybe, yes, I'll give just a question or 2 in the written, but it's going to count as about 20, at most 20% of the final mark. So be careful. The 80%, which is nearly all the mark or the whole mark, is going to be from the oral presentation. Very, very, very important. And it is necessary for everybody to do the presentation. And for those who do the presentation from the beginning, they always, or I always give a bonus. That is, some mistakes, I just don't count them because they haven't taken enough time. It means they have started from the first week, second week, they always have a bonus. Okay, so I urge you to start from next week an oral presentation. Okay, and then I'm going to send you, I have a PDF, how to register your presentation, your oral presentation in YouTube in a way that only me can see it. It's not going to be in YouTube for everybody. It's just for me to see it. So you're going to send it to me through YouTube, and I'm going to give you an address, an email address, where you're going to send your presentation and the link of the presentation. Bushra, it was you?
Yeah, sorry.
No, it doesn't matter. So, yes, Fatima Zahram, how we are going to do this, you just, for now, for the time being, just prepare your presentation. You rehearse your presentation, you do it again with a friend, you register yourself and see for the first time, see yourself. The best thing is to see yourself, how you do it. You see your gestures, your body language, your eye contact. You have to look at the camera. Okay, you have, if it's the laptop, you have the small point, which is the camera. You have to look at that camera because that camera represents the audience. So you have to look at your audience, and if it's your mobile phone, that it's going to be the same thing. So you have the camera somewhere, and you have to look at the camera, which means that you're looking at your audience. From time to time, of course, you're going to look at your screen, because any oral presentation is going to be to be sent with a PowerPoint. This is obligatory. This I do every year. You can ask about this. The PowerPoint, again, is also going to be marked. So we are going to see how we're going to do these PowerPoint. Don't bother about this. We're going to have an exercise, and we're going to have other lectures. So this lecture, from the time being, I'm not going to take a lot of time. I'm just going to give you the way we're going to work. That is obligatory. Every single student has to come up with a oral presentation, and you're not going to send me all the presentations at once. So those who are going to do the presentation from the beginning are going to get a bonus. That is, if the presentation is bad, not very good, maybe I can give even a passing mark. If it's very bad, very bad, I can give an 8. But then if it's an 8, I'm going to tell you to just repeat the presentation and to rework it again. So, but most of the time, those first ones are the ones who always pass. Okay, because it helps me by the end of the semester, where students are all sending at once. For me, it is very difficult, and I don't have time to look at all the presentations at the last minute. It is simply impossible. So please do work during the semester and during the first part. If I don't receive any oral presentations, so this you're going to say in your group, if I don't receive any, it means that I'm going to go and see another way to work with. In this case, I'm going to start with the, for every week, I'm going to choose about maybe with the, I'm going to use the alphabetical order, and then those who do not send the presentation will get that mark, of course. And like this, I think I can get all the presentations before time. So we need to make a video of ourselves giving the presentation. Exactly, Marwa. You have to make a video in YouTube of how of your presentation, you presenting, and the presentation is going to be in groups. That is, any presentation is going to be at least 2, because If I'm going to look at 230 presentation, I will never finish. I will work only with this group. It is strictly impossible. So a presentation of 2-3 students, a group of 2-3 students would be fine. Okay, so Sumia Kabrawi, for all the groups, the presentation for all the groups, I'm talking about my group. The other groups have to see with their teachers. Maybe some teachers prefer to do oral presentation in a written form, but for me, an oral communication has to be oral. You have to be examined on your oral. It is an oral. What are the types of subjects that we are going to talk about? So the type of subjects you're going to talk about. Do you follow me very good? Am I talking very quick?
No, teacher, is good.
Okay. Good. Thank you. So for the types of subjects, any subject would do. But again, everything is going to be marked. You know that we teachers, we tend to mark every single thing. So the choice of the subject is something that has its mark. So you should know how to choose a subject that is going to interest the young people you are. So it should be something that is up to date, something that everybody is talking about, but please not the COVID. I'm getting fed up with the COVID. Look at something else apart from the COVID. Okay, so something up to date, something that interests young people, something that is happening now, something interesting, something that we do not know, and you would tell us about it. I don't know. There are so many subjects, very interesting subjects. Okay. Fatima Zahra, do we need to make only one? For the time being, I don't want you to make more than one because I want, prepare more than one, but I will not look at the second one until I finish the first draft of everybody, because I cannot stick to some groups that are doing 2-3 presentations and working again with the same students. I have to be working with all the students. So everybody's going to prepare first one presentation, and then right afterwards, you start working on the second presentation. In any case, the one goes bad or something happens, or if I don't know, if we still have time at the end and you have to want to have a better mark, then I can tell you to go with the second one. Okay, so that we're going to talk about, please. Well, Nadia, any subject that is up to date, something interesting, something that you master. Have we do it? Have we do it? Have we do it now? Yeah. From next week. I want the first ones to go. Let me say, everybody try like this. I finish with you, and I keep the second group that is still coming to the next time. So you do. I'll give you 1 week, or let's say 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, please try to send me your presentations. Yeah, you're going to work in groups. So if you are a group of 2 students, then which means that your presentation is going to be divided into 2 sections. So each student is going to do 1 section. And I don't want 1 student doing the introduction and the conclusion and 1 student doing the whole presentation, the body. No, no, the one who is going to do only introduction and conclusion is not going to get a mark, because that is not the presentation. The presentation is the body. So the body has to be, if you are 2 students, the body has to be divided into 2 sections or 2 headings. And if the presentation, if you are 3 students in that group, then try to find a subject that you can divide into 3 subheadings or sections. So each one is going to take a section, and then one of you is going to do the introduction, and another one is going to do the conclusion with his part. Okay, so the one who is going to do the first section is going to do the introduction, and the one who is going to do the last session is going to do the conclusion. Selma, yeah, you can do the presentation alone, but it's not very kind of you, because you're going to give me time for 1 student. I want the time to be for 2-3 students, because it's a little bit the same time. If I cannot really do the correct 230 presentations, that's too much for me. I'd like, if you are 2 in a presentation, that's going to give me about 115 presentations to correct. It's already a big number. So that's why if I can have 3 students in 1 presentation, it's going to give me about 80 presentations to correct. It's already a lot, but at least it's not 230. Umayma Hatuli, the presentation should not pass 30 minutes, of course. And then you will have problems in YouTube if you exceed 30 minutes. The presentation is going to be about 5 minutes each, which means that take away the introduction and the conclusion, and the part is going to be 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes each. So if you have a presentation, you are 2 students to present a presentation, it means that the presentation is going to be around 12 to 13 minutes, which means the body, each part is going to be about 4 minutes, 4 and 4, 8. And then the 1 minute is going to be the introduction, 1-2 minutes for the conclusion. So you count about 5 minutes for each section, which means that every student is going to present for 5 minutes. And if you are alone, of course, you're going to do about 15 minutes alone, or at least 10 minutes. From late, I have a question. Are we going to show our faces? Well, if you don't show your faces, how can I judge the eye contact? Because again, everything is marked. The eye contact is marked. I don't like students who give a presentation and they take a sheet of paper and they start reading. Or maybe you have a PowerPoint, your slides in the PowerPoint, and then you just read the slides in the PowerPoint. That is not an oral presentation. That is reading. And this course is not a reading course. It's not about reading. It's about presenting, talking with your own language, talking to your friends. So don't talk to me. Talk to your friends. Do not imagine that you are not in front of the teacher. Imagine that you are just in front of your friends, sisters and brothers, your smaller sisters and brothers, something that is some people that you're going to explain things to them, people who do not know things about, and you're going to explain things to them. Okay? Yeah, so Yasin Shigari or yeah, so Yasin Shigari is talking to Marwa. Yeah, so Yasin Shigari, you can send in the group the way to upload the video to YouTube in a way that is going to be unlisted. You can help in this way, and that will be kind of you. Okay. Jawad, presentations topic, again, it's, I don't know whether he hears me or not. I think he's gone. The topic is up to you. Can we send our presentations? Oh, no, please. No, please don't send the presentations to me if you're not in my group. It's just going to give me extra work. We already have a lot of work. Mohammed Hussein, 5 minutes in each section is a lot. How long does the paragraph have to be? It's not a paragraph. We are talking about a whole work, and the whole work is a set of paragraphs. It is sections, and under the sections you have paragraphs. Each section, if you're Mohammed Hussein, if you are two students, you have only two sections, which means it is about 10 minutes. That's not very long. In 10 minutes, you don't have a lot of things to say. Sometimes you need more. 5 minutes, that's nothing. Already the presentation is going to be empty. Okay? The due date is within 2 weeks. Okay? Any more questions? I don't want to go very far here because I don't have all the students, just an ice breaking. Do you have any questions? Are we going to send it? I'm going to give you a link, which I'm going to give you. Let me see if I can have it right now, and then I send it. You wait for me until I go to my. Okay. Just a minute. And okay, so it's this one. Let me just okay. It is oral.com.2.20. So here the email, you send your presentation to this email, but please, if you do not have the PowerPoint with the link to the presentation, do not send it, because what happens as I have a mark for the presentation and a mark for the PowerPoint, you send only one thing. The mark, of course, is bad because it is incomplete. And then afterwards, even if you send another time the rest of your work, for me, I receive only, for example, the first mail, you send the presentation. And then in another mail, you send the PowerPoint. What happens is the first mail, I judge the oral presentation and I give a mark for the oral presentation, but the mark is not good because there's the PowerPoint that is missing. So the mark is bad. And again, you send another mail with only the PowerPoint. And again, for me, it's the PowerPoint without the oral presentation, and it's a bad mark. So as I receive plenty of mails, I cannot find the other parts of your mail. So do not send, if you do not send the two things together. Obligatory, you send one, the link to the presentation, and second, the PowerPoint. And this is obligatory. Okay, so there is the link, oral presentation oral.com.2.20 and gmail.com. Again, I'll write it there. Thank you for repeating the repetition. Yes. Yes. which means that you're going to have it, you're going to take it. Everybody's going to have it. And then this mail, you put it in your WhatsApp group. And you precise that if you send something, you have to send 2 files. One is the oral presentation, and the other is okay. Now what's this? Now you're repeating too much there. Mohammed Al-Hussein, that's too many repetitions. Okay, you shouldn't exaggerate like that. Okay, that's too much. Oh no, that's not serious. The PowerPoint presentation. The PowerPoint is, these are the slides that are going to be with that you're going to follow in your presentation, that you're going to show to the audience you're presenting to. The presentation will be seen just from you or from all the students? No, I'm the only one to see the presentation. But if you want me to put it in the platform, I will. If I have your permission, I can. Yeah, it's a good thing. If you have, if someone sends a presentation and he gives me the permission to put it in the platform, I'll put it there for students to comment. It is a good idea. Okay, so the file you're going to send with the presentation is the PowerPoint you're going to prepare yourself. Okay, and the PowerPoint, you have to see how you prepare the PowerPoint. It's going to be a PowerPoint. We have to have a section about this. But let me just give an idea for those who would like to start their presentation from right now. So in your PowerPoint slides, the first slide is going to contain the title of the presentation, obligatory, and it's going to obligatory contain the names of the students who are going to present. If you are 2, so it's going to contain the name of the 2 students. If you are 3, it is going to contain the name of the 3 students. Please do not forget the names. If you do not put the names in your slides, I will not get. I don't know who you are. Okay, so put the names there. And sometimes in the mails, I receive mails from the students where I do not get their names. So for example, I had students send me, I've been receiving messages from Wild Wolf, Pretty Princess. So these are just surnames. I don't know what is the name of the students. So I have to have the name in the PowerPoint so I can give the mark to those students. So the first slide is only the title and the names of the students. And then we move to the second slide. The second slide is going to be only the plan of the presentation. So what is there going to be in the plan? There's going to be 2 sections if you have 2 sections. So you have the title and the first section. You will have given a title to this first section with the with the ideas you're going to tackle, and then you go to the second section and you give a title and with the ideas that you're going to tackle, and then conclusion with the introduction, of course, at the beginning. And then the third slide, you're going to start your presentation. So the presentation is going to be started only at the third slide. Okay, and the third slide, you're going to start, of course, with the first section, and that's going to be for the student who is going to do the first part. You have to send a file about choosing section. An idea. Okay. Okay. Oh, can we get a recap on the structure, please? Yes, Bushra, you can ask.
Okay, there's someone of a group on WhatsApp asking if he can talk about anime. Is it that okay?
Yeah, yes. I think this is something that interests you, young people. Is it?
What? Sorry?
It interests you as young people.
Yeah.
So it's good. Something that interests the others, it's always welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. See, Sam, no, you don't have to write. You should not write everything in the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint is just things, small sentences, just keywords, diagrams, pictures, things to help. It's not writing. You may write a definition that you think it is important to give and for the others to see, but you should not. It's just things to help. No, you should not be reading. You should not text. We are reading. No, no reading. No, there's nothing on the screen. There's nothing on the screen. We're just having a chat. Umayma, what you're going to send me, you're going to send the presentation, the link for of the presentation, and the second file that is the WhatsApp of the presentation. I think you see what I mean. Yes, Jawad, you can talk about any subject you choose. No, Wordsman, I said you should send the PowerPoint and the video at the same time. If you don't, you will not get your mark. Obligatory, you send them together. If you send just one thing, it is as if you're going to have only half your mark. Well, but instead of cutting the video, you rehearse, because what we want is that you get some fluency in English. In English, if you cut and then go again and then cut, you will not have any fluency. It's better to rehearse and then you present. And then if it doesn't work and you're broken somewhere, just rework it and restart it again from the beginning. It's good. It's repetition, and repetition is good. Okay, any more questions? No more questions? So this session was just to give a start, put things in your PowerPoint group, so you can tell the students what's going on, how we're going to work, what you're going to look for, how the session is going to be done, and the course is going to be held in this way, and at the end you will be finished with the with this. And of course, what is left is the PowerPoint and the presentation are going to take, just to repeat, 80% of the final mark of the mark of the exam, and then the 20% is going to be the written exam at the end, and the written is going to be on the things you have in the platform. Questions about things that you have in the platform. Okay, anything else? If someone wants to talk,
Can you please give us just a quick summary for the group on WhatsApp, please?
what do you mean by a quick summary of the group of WhatsApp?
I mean, when you will talk about this live summary, I will record the message.
Ah, okay. So I'll summarize here what I said. So every student should choose a subject to talk about. Okay, so and prepare an oral presentation to be sent to the address, to the email address oral.com. So you have the mail address that you're going to use. So every student has to have a subject to talk about, and you can work in groups of 2 or 3. So if you are a group of 2, you have to divide your work or subject into 2 subtopics or subtitles. If you're a group of 3, you have to divide your presentation into 3 sections with 3 subtitles, and each section is going to take about 3 to 5 minutes. 3 minutes is a bit not enough. Let's say 4 to 5 minutes for each section, and the section, the PowerPoint, the presentation is going to take about 10 to 15 minutes, according if you are 2 students or 3 students. Okay, the presentation, the link of the video is going to be sent to the address with the PowerPoint file. So if you do not know how to work in PowerPoint, you can always find someone to help you, because everybody is working with PowerPoint. It's not very difficult. Anyone in your surroundings can help you. You can ask the students to help you, your other students, and send a PowerPoint along with the link of the presentation. In the PowerPoint, you're not going to put all the writings. The writings is for you. I'm not going to judge the writing. I'm going to judge the oral, your oral language. Okay, the PowerPoint is there only to help. So what are you going to put in the PowerPoint? You're going to put diagrams. You're going to put titles, subtitles, definitions, maybe a video. Yes, why not? So anything that is going to help clarify your ideas in the presentation. And please don't read. When I have students reading, I know they are reading, because they are reading a language that is written. And I can make the difference between a written language and an oral language. I want an oral language. I don't want a written language. And then when it is an oral language, you have to use your own language. So I know what is the level of the students. So don't tell me that a student is going to bring a language that is better than mine. I know that it is not his language. I know that this student is reading. So I prefer that you talk with a lot of mistakes. I prefer that than giving me something where there are no mistakes, very correct English, because I know it's not your language, it's not your work. And I simply cannot judge that work because it's not yours. Okay? Plus or minus, this is it. Yes, Shgari, I think that you're going to help a lot in the WhatsApp group. See some with your faces, because I'm judging the eye contact, of course, the body language, I'm judging that. You can, I prefer the face. If you can do both, it's good, but the PowerPoint, I can read it apart. Yes, you said that we have to work in groups and each must present parts apartment. Doesn't mean that each must present apart from the interior of the body and the conclusion, right? Parts. Yes, each student has to present something from the inside, from the body. So that's why the size of the video shouldn't be long, so you can send it. Do not exceed 15 minutes. Any more questions? Okay, we see each other next time at the same time. I hope I will have the other students, and then we really. Okay, we see each other next time, same hour.